Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today, my group will present about the current initiative in environmental related management accounting. What is current initiative? Current initiative are specific projects or programs undertaken to achieve specific objectives in the short term, such as to reduce costs, increase efficiency, and improve sales performance. Here, I want to share some current initiatives in environmental related management accounting. First is cost reduction. It is a strategic focus to reduce costs. Manufacturers can capitalize on this trend by implementing a supply chain management program that increases profit by becoming greener. It also can be used to become more sustainable and green while reducing costs and increasing profit. By implementing an energy saving program, we could potentially reduce our electrical consumption by half. Another method for reducing energy consumption and cost is by using renewable energy sources. Secondly, compliance to regulation. Take a proactive approach to stay ahead of the environmental regulation that various government agencies impose on manufacturing business. Inform yourself regarding both current and impending regulation that affect your business. Honda and Toyota are examples of manufacturers staying ahead of the regulation. Both companies have developed and produced new engines that not only met but exceed the requirement. Third is the top management commitment to environmental management. It is an evidence from the study that the top management from the cases investigated is committed towards environmental management and sustainability. The high level of participation of the top management in environmental management system acts as a good measure to show the organizational commitment to the environment. Top management support and performance are significantly connected with the effectiveness of environmental management processes, and it is one of the critical success factors. Last but not least, purchase energy saving machinery. Facilities and equipment management is an area where manufacturers can improve their sustainability. Recent innovations have increased the efficiency of machines while reducing their impact on the environment. New equipment with energy-saving and eco-friendly features can reduce costs by operating more efficiently, utilizing materials to their fullest, and producing a better product at a faster rate with little or no environmental impact.
Eco-efficiency is defined as one of the management strategy to promote improvement from unsustainable process to sustainable production process. So the concept is to create more goods and services at minimal level of resources, and it is applicable at all part of phases in company's operation. The purpose of eco-efficiency implementation is to maximizing the efficiency of production process, as using minimal resources will help the company to eliminate or reduce the hazardous ecological impact or emission to create a better environment. According to World Business Council of Sustainable Development in 1992, there are 7 critical aspects of eco-efficiency, which is reducing material intensity of goods and services, reducing energy intensity of goods and services, reducing the dispersion of any toxic materials, enhancing the recyclability of materials, making the maximum possible utilization of renewable resources, enhancing the durability of products, and last but not least, improving service intensity of goods and services. So these are the 2 examples of companies that apply the eco-efficiency strategy in their company, which is Nestle and Coca-Cola. So first, let's take a look on Nestle company. So Nestle has planned to improve their coffee product process so that they can reduce the emission or pollution of carbon dioxide. So through scientifically, the non-GMO breeding will reduce up to 30% of carbon dioxide pollution. Meanwhile, for Coca-Cola Company, it was also stated that they are also taking an initiative to reduce the pollution from their plastic bottle production by making the bottle lighter and using the recycled material. So this shows that both companies, which is Nestle and Coca-Cola, taking care of their environment in order to maximizing their production and also operation efficiency.
Next is the definition of ELC. ELC is the collection of total costs connected with product life cycle, which are underwritten with one or more subjects in its life cycle. For example, production costs, manufacturing costs, and operation costs. while life cycle assessment is according with ISO 14040 define a methodology for compiling and evaluating the environment impact of the product system through its life cycle. The benefit of ELC. First, it will avoid unfavorable response and action on the part of governing of governmental institution in the form of penalty fine, concession, registration, temporary or permanent withholding of sales if the given market. Next, integration of external and internal reporting in environmental and social area, which are used in operational and strategic management process. In addition, it provides more accurate cost forecasting, better estimation of full cost, associated with the procurement leading to an improved decision making at all levels. Additionally, the analysis will lead to be more forecasting of the future expenditure and capital investment. Lastly, to perform trade-off against cost. Cost is not only factor to be considered in purchasing decision. There are factors such as overall fitness against requirement and quality of the product and service to be provided are also relevant. The challenge of environmental life cycle costing is time consuming. Life cycle costing analysis is too long because of the changed new technology. Next is high cost. The longer the project lifetime, the more operating costs will be incurred.
Hello everyone. So, I will continue this presentation with environmental supply chain management. Environmental supply chain management is a key part of a sustainability business strategy. It covers management of all significant environmental impacts from your company's supply chain throughout the life cycle of product or services. The most significant environmental impacts is often caused by activities outside your own company. Therefore, it is a great importance to look at environmental improvements in the supply chain. So, environmental will give negative impact if we keep ignore it in corporate business chain management. For example, like air pollution, toxic waste, long-term damage to ecosystem, water pollution, and deforestation. Next, there is few objectives that arise when implementing environmental supply chain strategy in a company. First is to minimize the environmental impact of goods and services while contributing towards a more responsible and sustainable way of doing business, and also maximize the use of renewable energy sources and reduce carbon emission from the company's operation while continuing to provide these goods and services to the customer. Next objective is to embrace best practice in order to reduce risk and ensure a more safe and more sustainable workplace. Third objective is to use all of the resources in an operation efficiently in order to keep costs down and ensure a more effective way of doing business. It also helps to optimize the process and operation to ensure a more streamlined way of doing business. Last but not least, to build a culture of transparency and accountability that will allow the company to track its progress towards a more sustainable future. There is difference between environmental supply chain management and sustainability. Let me go through for environmental supply chain management. Environmental supply chain management can be characterized as incorporating ecological intuition into store network administration, including item outline, material sourcing, choice fabricating forms, conveyance of the last item, and additionally, end-of-life administration of the item after its valuable life. While for the supportability or sustainability can be argumented all through the supply chain, starting with idea and investment, then proceeding through all periods of creation and last client dissemination. Article here spotlight endeavors by material suppliers, item producers, and retailer to build sustainability. These expanded sustainability endeavors are had to diminish the effect of the production. The implementation of environmental supply chain management arise three key areas as the most significant area that relate to production, which are environmental supply chain planning, environmental procurement, and environmental supply chain execution. Let we go through one by one. Environmental supply chain planning is the first key area to implement green supply chain. Each activity that involves with supply chain will implement green concept during the early stage of planning. According to MAF651 2010, green supply chain planning introduced a revolutionary new mindset to the traditional supply chain planning. All activities across the entire supply chain are planned with a viewpoint of minimizing the environmental impact of the overall endeavor while still achieving the same result. Second, environmental procurement. Environmental procurement, also known as purchase, according to Benton 2010. The function of purchasing is to provide a firm with component parts and raw material. Environmental procurement is aimed to green the company resources. Emit and Son 2010 state green procurement aim to reduce overall expenditure on organization, product, and services by removing or minimizing the usage of hazardous to green initiatives in the entire supply chain. Lastly is environmental supply chain execution, where it is the last key area of implementing green supply chain management. This step is aimed to execution green to another area or activity that is related to green supply chain. According to Emit and Sood 2010, green supply chain framework, there are 5 activities that are under green supply chain execution or environmental supply chain execution. Those 5 activities are green products, green logistics, green packaging, green marketing, and supply loops. Green production will be selected as the most significant area that relate to production. Apart from impacting the environmental positively, environmental supply chain will give a lot of benefits for a business. First is cost reduction. Companies can save costs by implementing digital technologies that help in green going. IT solution that helps in low consumption of power, substituting energy sources and recycling can create a positive impact on the financial sheets of a business. While implementing green initiatives, business focus on reducing the greenhouse gas emission, which in turn lead to making shorter trips and reducing shipments. This result in lower costs as vehicle use less fuel and suffer minimized wear and tear. For example, the company of Nike changed the way it manufacturing its new edition of shoes, reducing labor costs by up to 50% and reducing material usage by 20%, which resulted in 0.25% higher margins. Second advantage is being compliant. According to the second annual CDP supply chain report that summarized climate change information from 710 suppliers, 6% of leading companies already deselect suppliers who fail to manage carbon. According to current projections, this number is set to rise 56% in the future. Whether to comply with government regulations or meet the expectation of the customers or clients, business are finding motivation to go green. Next advantage is sustainability of resources. If a business has implemented green practice in its supply chain, there should be a process or policy in place in the supply chain that lets them be a reproducer and recycle at the same pace at which their product is consumed. Last but not least, it will build brand reputation and gaining competitive advantage. With information readily available online these days, having a green supply chain or environmental supply chain will help you in building your brand reputation. Business that develop environment-friendly and technologically advanced products will be able to build and sustain their brand image. Customers want to buy from environmental responsible business, and going green is an excellent way to let them know that your company has embraced the green revolution. According to a report, customers are willing to pay more for products that ensure green practice and transparent supply chains.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. My name is Zulfakri Hakim. So, I will continue the presentation with ISO 14001, which is Environmental Management System. So, we will begin with the definition of ISO 14001. So, what is ISO 14001? It is globally recognized as a standard that specifies the standards for environmental management system. It helps to assist organizations in improving their environmental performance via more effective resource utilization and waste reduction. It also obtained a competitive advantage and stakeholder confidence or trust. The goals or objectives of ISO 14001 is to create an environmental management systems capable of identifying and controlling the environmental impact of its activities, products, and services. It also continually improving its environmental performance and implementing a systematic approach to setting environmental objectives and targets to achieve these objectives and to demonstrate what they have been achieved. Of course, for the company that apply ISO 14001 will gain some benefits. So the first benefits is demonstrate compliance with current and future statutory and regulatory requirement. Second, it provides a competitive and financial advantages through improved efficiencies and reduced costs. Okay, the third advantages or benefits is increased leadership involvement and engagement of employees. Next, it will improve company reputation and the confidence of stakeholders through strategic communication. Furthermore, it will encourage better environmental performance of suppliers by integrating them into the organization's business systems. And last but not least, it will achieve strategic business aims by incorporating environmental issues into business management. Okay, in order for an organization to get the certification of ISO 14001, there are a few requirements need to be done. Okay, the first is general requirements, which means an organization must establish, document, implement, and continually improve their environmental management systems and show how they meet all the requirements of this standard. Next, the under general requirement, it also have to include the initial review of impacts and influences on outside the environment. Okay, second is evaluation of environmental policy aspects. Okay, the third, setting up of environmental objectives and targets. And number four is setting up an environmental management program. And the steps number 5 is promulgation of an environmental policy. And after that, there will be a first provisional audit of steps taken. The next requirement is training of staff and other personnel, communication and documentation of environmental aspects, operation and management control, emergency preparedness and response, including satisfying building and fire controls, monitoring and evaluation, non-performance and corrective action, documentation and recording, internal auditing, and management review. After that, there will be a second provisional review and followed by corrective action, and then the final audit report and certification will be approved. This entire process above can take from a year to 2 years to be complete. That's all from me. Thank you.
In conclusion, in Malaysia, as part of the government initiative embedded the culture of socially and environmentally responsible among PLCs, CSRR have been made mandatory with effect from 2007. At its most basic level, this effort can be seen as a good start for better reporting practices of companies' environmental footprints. In this sense, it is reasonable to assume that the higher the commitment toward the environment, the higher the extent of EMA implementation, and the higher the quality of the environmental information to be reported, and also provides another dimension to look at in attaining a better understanding of companies' environmental practices.